The road is not on any map you've seen. You know this road. You've driven it before, in daylight, in summer, when the birch trees on both sides were green, and the light came through them in long, clean bars. But that was another version of this road. The one you're on now is older. Your car stopped 12 minutes ago. Not dramatically. No cough, no grinding. It simply stopped. As though someone had pressed a button you couldn't see. You've tried the engine 4 times. The 4th time, you stopped trying. Your phone has signal, which surprises you. But when you open the map, your location is a blue dot, sitting in a grey void. No roads, no names, just you and the dot and the grey. Outside, the trees are very close to the road. You notice this now in a way you didn't when you were moving. They press forward, as though curious. The headlights are still on. They illuminate about 40 meters of road ahead of you. And then, nothing. Just the dark absorbing everything. You're going to wait for someone to pass. No one passes. You see the shape at the edge of your headlights. It takes a moment to register, because your brain is doing what brains do, searching for the familiar thing this shape must be. A rock, a post, a bag someone has left on the road. But the shape is not quite the right size for any of those things. It is about the height of a child, though not exactly the shape of one. And it is not on the road. It is at the edge of the tree line, just where the light stops. You watch it. It doesn't move. Nothing about it moves. But there is something wrong with how still it is. A stillness that is not the stillness of an object. Objects do not hold themselves still. They just are. This is holding itself still. You reach for your phone. The map is still showing the grey void. You switch on the torch and aim it through the windshield at the shape. The light catches. Nothing. The shape is gone. The tree line is empty. There is only the forest and the dark between the trees, and your own reflection in the glass, watching you from the wrong side. You don't get out of the car. You're going to tell yourself this was a reasonable decision, and it was. But the truth is something else. The truth is, you didn't get out of the car because you understood, without knowing you understood it, that being inside was different from being outside, that the car was a boundary. You leave the engine off. You leave the headlights on. You sit very still in the driver's seat, and you wait, and you do not look in the rearview mirror. This is important. The sound, when it comes, is light. A single footstep on the gravel shoulder of the road. Then nothing. Then, and this is the part you will return to, months later, in ordinary moments. A sound you can only describe as a child trying very hard not to make a sound. The suppressed, wet quality of a child who has been crying so long they've forgotten how to stop. It is coming from directly behind the car. You look in the rear-view mirror. There is nothing in the mirror. And then it happens. Not to the car. To you. A pull. Downward. Not gravity. You know gravity, and it does not feel like this. This is specific. It begins somewhere at the base of your spine and moves outward. And the closest thing your body can find to compare it to is that moment just before sleep, when the floor drops out and you jerk awake with your heart in your throat. You know that feeling. This is that feeling. Except it doesn't stop. You have felt it once before, half asleep in your own bed. A pull from below. Gone in a second. You told yourself it was nothing. This is the same pull. It is not nothing. You don't understand it. You feel it. Something in you, older than language, older than anything you were taught, simply knows. The way your body knows to pull back from a flame before your mind has named it heat. The knowledge arrives whole, from somewhere below thought. Children, the wrong ground, the unnamed place, something that has been waiting in the space between those words for a very long time, and has just recognized you. You didn't read about this. You didn't remember it. It rose up through the seat of the car and through your spine and into your chest, and now it sits there, quiet and certain, the way only very old things are certain. It wants to be brought somewhere. And you stopped. You feel the weight shift to one side, the passenger side. It is coming forward. You don't turn your head. You understand this is important, though no one has told you why. You keep your eyes on the road ahead, the 40 meters of lit gravel, the dark beyond it, and you breathe. The passenger seat does not creak. There is no cold, no drop in temperature, none of the things you've been told about. There is only the sense, clear and specific, like knowing someone is reading over your shoulder, that you are no longer alone in this car. It is very small. It is very tired. Your hands are on the wheel. You don't know when you put them there, but you find yourself thinking. Not in words, more like a feeling with the shape of a question. Where would you take it? If you drove. If you drove right now, down this road, past the dark, past the grey void on the map. Where is the place it needs to go? And then, a sound. Very close to your ear. Not a voice, not a word. The shape a word leaves in the air after it's been spoken in a language you don't know. The engine starts. You did not turn the key. You drove for 11 minutes. You don't know where you went. You only know that something in you said now, not in words, just the absolute certainty of it. You just drove. You didn't choose the road. The road chose itself. When the weight lifted, you pulled over. You sat there for a long time, sad in a way you didn't expect, relieved in a way that made the sadness worse. Something had needed you, and you had been there, and now it was done, and you had no idea what any of it meant. You're home now. 3 weeks. The car starts every morning. But sometimes, alone in the car, waiting at a light, sitting in the driveway not quite ready to go inside, you feel the passenger seat shift. And sometimes, in your own house, in a room you know completely, you glance over your shoulder, not because you heard something, just to make sure, just to see. The word is Myling, from Old Swedish, myrða, to murder. First documented in written records in 1647, though the stories are older than any record. They come from Sweden, Norway, Iceland. In Finland, the creature is called ihtiriekko, or liekkiö. Different names. The same thing. The Myling is the spirit of a child who was killed before it could be baptized, before it had a name, before the church had received it, before the ground was permitted to receive it. In the 17th and 18th centuries, church law across Scandinavia explicitly prohibited burying unbaptized infants in consecrated ground. They were buried elsewhere, in walls, under threshold stones, at the edges of fields, in places the map doesn't name. Between 1759 and 1778, infanticide charges accounted for 35% of all executions in Sweden. Sweden alone. The stories exist because the practice existed. What the Myling wants has never changed across 400 years of documentation. It wants to be carried to consecrated ground. It wants to be named. Sleep tight, dear listeners. If this kept you awake, subscribe.